Buddy Daddies is a series that ended quite recently and it was airing on the winter anime of 2023. And I gotta say, it's probably one of the best animes to come out of that season because it was just really good to watch. The first few episodes were decent, and I think it was towards the middle and towards the end of the series that it really became really a great series overall. Now, something that's worth mentioning is that in the first few couple of episodes, there were just so many people online that I saw that said that they weren't gonna check out this series because this was, quote, a Spy Family clone. Yeah, it's not surprising that based on the synopsis and based on how the series is, that many people got the idea that it was trying to rip off Spy Family, which led to some people believing that the only reason why this anime was even being made in the first place was because it was trying to catch the same attention that Spy Family had when it was airing. However, I did not see it like that. While yes, it does have similar things to Spy Family, and it did give me Spy Family vibes in the beginning of the series, it became a whole different thing. And if you're one of those people who just simply brush this series aside just because you thought it was going to be a Spy Family clone, I highly suggest you watch it because it's far different from Spy Family and it's not trying to be a Spy Family ripoff. So what is Buddy Daddies all about? Well, it's about these two hitmen named Rei and Kazuki who are obviously part of the Hitman organization. However, one day when they are dealing with a mission in which they have to take down their next target, they stumble upon a person that will completely change their lives forever, and that is Miri. Miri is a little girl who actually arrived to Tokyo to look for her father. However, it is later revealed that her father was the target that Rei and Kazuki had to take down. After realizing this, Kazuki and Rei have to now take care of Miri and have to find a way to balance their hitman life as well as making sure that Miri has a normal life as well. It's very obvious that based on this description that a lot of people assume that this was just simply going to be a Spy Family ripoff. Obviously, there's a lot of similarities between Spy Family and Buddy Daddies. For one hand, the main characters all have their secret lives that they obviously can't say to anybody. Of course, both series have the main child character, and of course both series have this thing in which they have to balance the secret life that they have as well as just simply having a normal life in general. But this next part is where things are different. For one hand, I don't know if this is a hot take or not, but I much prefer Miri's character over Anya's character, and that's mainly due to the fact that Miri's actions and what she says come natural and something that you would expect a child to say and do. But with Anya, some of her moments don't come out as natural. It's very clear that she's putting a persona or she's acting a certain way in order to get what she wants and something that will benefit her. I think that's the reason why I prefer Miri over Anya, is because the way Miri acts sometimes just comes as something that you would expect a child to be doing. Not to mention how in Buddy Daddies, the Hitman organization plays a huge role in the story and why it pretty much shaped the way Rei and Kazuki are as people, and how being part of this Hitman organization affected their lives overall. For example, with Kazuki, we find out that he still has regrets of things he has done in his past due to the fact that he feels guilty and feels responsible for the death of the love of his life, as we've come to find out that during one of his missions, sadly the person that he loved the most was in the wrong place at the wrong time. It was in the crossfires of his mission, and this resulted in her death. Afterwards, you can clearly tell that Kazuki hasn't forgotten about that moment and he still blames himself for everything that happened. He thinks that he is responsible for her death and believes that because of that he doesn't deserve to have happiness or to have a normal life. And while eventually he does learn to forgive himself and move on past that whole event, this just greatly shows just how dangerous this line of work is. It's very clear that being a hitman isn't an easy thing to do, and in fact it's very dangerous for not just the person doing it but also the people that are around that person as well. And then we move on to Rei, which if you have seen in the series doesn't really tend to have a lot of emotions. In fact, he doesn't really express them that all too often. There's a reason for that, and that's because of his very troubling past between him and his family. You see, his father is actually the person who is in charge of the entire organization, and it seems that his father has already planned what Rei is going to be doing for the rest of his life, and that is to take over the organization once he's gone. But with that being said, it doesn't mean that his father was the greatest person. You see, his father wanted to make Rei a killing machine, basically somebody who would kill and just listen to orders no matter what. And he made it very clear that this was his true intention, and it's very obvious based on the flashbacks that we got on Rei's past that he didn't have the greatest childhood. It's very clear because of all these traumatic experiences that Rei didn't see anything in life that was very great. He didn't really see the joy in life. However, just like Kazuki, that all changed once he had Miri in his life, where he started experiencing new things that he never thought he would experience, and he finally started to realize that there was just more things to life than just simply black and white. However, if there's one thing that I really enjoy about Buddy Daddies, it's just how unpredictable it was and how the story could go in many different ways, as later on in this series Miri's mother actually does return and actually does play a huge role in the later story of the series. series. When we were first introduced to Mary's mother, she just seemed like a very irresponsible parent who didn't really care about Mary and had no intention of taking care of her whatsoever. However, we later find out that because of a deadly illness that she has very limited time before she is no longer in the world, and in these last few moments she wants to be with Mary and wants to be by her side and wants to be an actual parent, which is something that was really unexpected, but it was really nice to see Mary's mom actually trying to be a parent and be there for her daughter, because she realizes that she's not going to have a lot of time left for her to be with her daughter. And of course, this creates a huge dilemma between Mary's mom and Kazuki and Rei, because obviously they both created a strong bond with Mary, and because of that they don't want to see Mary go, but they eventually come to the conclusion that it's probably for the best of her, because obviously due to them being hitmen, it's very obvious that Mary's life is always going to be in danger if she's still around them. So they make the tough decision to let Mary go and be with her mother. But in a turn of events, it is later revealed that Rei's father has intentions to take out anybody that has had a connection with Rei, that being Kazuki, Miri, and even Miri's mom. Of course, Rei is very against this, as he made it very clear that he is willing to be part of the family organization, but he begs his father to not harm any of those people because they have nothing to do with him. Of course, his father, being ruthless, doesn't really care about this and says how this is something that's always been done in the family organization, as we come to find out that apparently whoever is going to be the next owner or the next person in charge of the organization is going to have to take out all the connections that they had in their lives. And this was no joke, as sadly Mary's mother is killed by a hitman who was assigned to make sure all the people that Rei had contact with were no longer in this world. And while Kazuki and Rei tried to save Mary's mother, unfortunately it was too late. And this was a tragic scene because it was so sad to see Mary's mother, a person who clearly wanted to change and wanted to become a better parent and wanted to be there for her daughter, have her life taken away just like that. And because of this event, Rei and Kazuki are now determined to leave the Hitman organization. They realize that it's not going to be easy, but they want to do it not just for themselves but for Miri, because they want to be there for Miri now that Miri has pretty much lost both of her parents. And they actually do this. They actually go to the organization and start causing chaos, and Rei has this really good moment in which he stands up for himself against his dad, telling his dad that he has no intentions of running the organization and wants to quit the organization entirely, as he states that back then he didn't see any purpose in life. He thought that life was just simply something meaningless, but now that he has someone that he wants to protect, somebody that he wants to be by their side, he now sees the value in life and why many people seem to always enjoy life, because it's always the people that are around you that make life great. It really goes to show us just how much Rei as a character has changed, as he comes to see that not only is life great, but also the fact that there are people in life that can make your life better and make life happier. And then we get one of the best endings, in which we get a time skip in which now Miri is a teenager and both Kazuki and Rei now own a restaurant, and it seems to be doing really well. And based on the different location, it's very clear that they moved somewhere else to start a new life. And that's the end of Buddy Daddies. Overall, a really great anime, and I highly recommend you watch it if you haven't watched it, because it's just really great. At first I thought it was just going to be similar to Spy Family, like many people, in which, you know, it was simply going to be balancing the hitman life but with also trying to have a normal life as well with Miri. But we actually got a very impactful story. Not only did we get to see just how bad it is to be in a hitman organization, but also the dangers that are in being in a hitman organization, but we got to see some great character development from Kazuki and Rei. Not only did we learn about their past and why they are the way they are, or just the tragic events that happened during their lives, but we also got to see the strong bond that they built with Miri. And it's very clear that Miri changed their lives forever, and that's a good thing, because now Kazuki and Rei are now enjoying life and are clearly trying to be a family for Miri. And yeah, that's just really everything that makes this series really great. Like I said before, I highly recommend you watch it because it's just a really great series. If you're a fan of Spy Family, you're going to enjoy Buddy Daddies as well. Of course, it's not a clone. It's not trying to do the exact same thing that Spy Family does, because it does its own different things as well. So yeah, with that being said, that's pretty much the entire video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time.